To discuss the possibility of alcohol sales on Sunday. One with, actually, ironically, both are in my district, but one in Pine Island, one in Cherry Lake. So, they have both requested to be brought before the board, and they've written letters to ask us to consider. I think maybe, Council, you could tell us what would be the process if we elected?
Sure. In the packet is a copy of section 562.14, which is the statute that deals with the sale of alcohol. Most things with alcohol are preempted to the state, licensing and all that kind of stuff. The statutes that provide that the local ordinance, county and municipality can control the hours of sale within their jurisdiction. So y'all would be able to control the unincorporated area. And that's a matter of policy. So y'all can do it however y'all see fit. You have to do it by ordinance. You can make it sales 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you want. You can say sales can't be but 2 hours a day during the week if you want. I mean, you've got all that kind of discretion. It is my understanding, going back from memory, that what ours say now is that it's from, I think from midnight to, you're not allowed to midnight to 7 a.m. And then we exclude Sundays altogether. That's in the unincorporated area. But again, y'all can do that how you want. It's a policy decision. If y'all want to change the way we have now, though, you need to tell me to draft an ordinance doing that. We notice the ordinance, have a public hearing like we do with most ordinances, and then y'all make a decision.
Okay. You have any discussion? It's my thoughts that these retailers are there. They're paying taxes, they're paying insurance, they're paying salaries, and they're losing revenue on, especially on our end of the county because of Cherry Lake. There's just about every day when you're there, every Sunday, if you happen to be at the store, there's people that are showing up there to buy beer, and they can't, and they leave, and possibly they're not buying gasoline or soft drinks or cold drinks or whatever other things they may do. So I would think that we would really want to discuss it and lean toward that, but it's up to anybody else.
Well, Mr. Chair, I can see where they lose revenue because surrounding counties allow it. Taylor County is allowed, and I'm not sure about Niles County or Brooks County. But if a motion is in order, I would move that the attorney draft an ordinance to allow beer sales on Sundays.
Do you want to do an hour? Now, when you say Sunday, that was open it up. You want to say, do you want to set up a time parameter?
No. As long as they operate.
What's the hour operation on the other days would be the same, I guess.
Well, the default in the statute is there's no sales between midnight and 7 a.m. and 7 days a week. So that's the default. So if we don't have an ordinance, that's what it would get back to. But of course, y'all can do that again how you want. Some places do allow sales on Sunday, say, well, we'll have sales after noon on Sunday. How y'all want to do that?
I'm letting Commissioner Moore finish reading the, I was just.
So I'll make sure.
So as I understand it, from midnight to 7 a.m. any day, that's the way it's, the ordinance, the statute.
That's the way the statute reads, and that's the default if y'all don't provide otherwise. So if that's what y'all want to do, what I would do is draft an ordinance that says that we're going to repeal all previous ordinances and go with the default. If you don't want to do that, if you want to put some other hours or whatever else, tell me how to draft it, and I'll draft it.
Well, let's go with the statute, from midnight to 7 a.m.
Okay. We have a motion?
I'll clarify real quick. So the motion has been to repeal the former motion That's,
which bans sales altogether.
or repeal the former ordinance, I should say. Okay.
Yeah,
And report back to the state.
Just modify the state statute.
Right, to ask you to draft you an ordinance for consideration that takes, that repeals previous ordinances, leaving the default, the statutory default.
Yes.
Thank you.
We have a motion.
I second
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Four vote, pass four
So,
vote.
now, do y'all want me to draft that, bring it back, let you look at it, or do you want me to draft that, notice that we have a public hearing? You want to look at it once before we notice the public hearing?
How many public hearings will we need? Just one?
Why don't we have a public here?
Just go ahead and draft it and do the
Yeah.
public hearing?
Yeah.
We'll do it.
That brings us to the end. It becomes Ms. Pickles' part now. Oh, excuse me. I'm new at this. I'm filling in for Austin, if you guys don't know.
We're gonna adjourn real quick.
I'm ready to go. I'm getting a record time here. Commissioner Davis, you have, Mr. Moore?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Gulf Power had a public information meeting at the Fairgrounds in Tallahassee on June the 5th, and I happened to be in Tallahassee and I did attend. And they did a round robin type deal where this table talked about easement, the next table talked about the construction of the power line, so forth and so on. I don't know exactly how many people attended, but, and I suggested to them they might need to do something like that here in Madison, so concerned citizens can come out and voice their concerns and be as informed as possible about the proposed transmission lines. It was informative, and Mr. Bryant called me, he thanked me for coming. I did not go representing Madison County, but I just trying to educate myself as to what it was all about. So I suggest that they might want to do something like that here in Madison, and I don't know if they've gotten in contact with Ryan or not to give you a date, or.
They have not confirmed their date. If y'all will remember at one of your last meetings, y'all had asked that we try to reschedule a meeting with them. And I offered them some dates, and they haven't got back to me yet to finalize that. But I did speak to Mr. Bryan on Friday and reminded him that we had those dates and we're trying to close in on them in this month. We'd like to finalize that.
And, you know, like I said earlier, it was informative, and it was just part of trying to educate myself as to what's, you know, coming down the road.
If we can move toward that, some more public information.
And one other thing, Mr. Chairman, the new toll road that the state, you know, passed, I think it's 7068, House Bill 768, I believe. I was in a meeting, concerning, the new road, and from my understanding, that's gonna be a 10-year project. But there's a lot of planning and whatnot going on right now, and I think that would help Madison County as far as economic development. If we can sort of have that road come through Madison County. You know, growing up here in the city years ago, it was rough just going across Highway 90 because of the traffic. Then in 1974, the interstate opened up, and not only in Madison, but a lot of other small towns, they took traffic away from the towns, and businesses sort of dropped off. But if we could, maybe get a seat at the table and talk with the planners, that might help us as far as, getting some more economic growth back here in Madison County. So hopefully we'll know a little bit more about that at our, meeting in, Orlando this week at the conference, and we could sort of educate ourselves as to what's going on. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Al, you have anything?
Yes, sir, just a couple reminders. We sent you an invitation June 26th at 11 o'clock. They're having a rededication of the Greenville Fire Station. We'd like y'all to attend. Also that same week, June 28th at 12 o'clock, you've been invited to, Boys to Kings is having a lunch and learn, and we'd like y'all to come. Also, that's all the calendar events I have, other than waiting for Mr. Bryant to get back with me on the, power line. I was also gonna ask you about, the hospital. I met with the hospital this morning, and they're looking at, of course, trying to bring in more doctors to the community. We're in shortage of doctors, and they said that we had an agreement that helped bring Dr. Payne, to the community. Do you remember that, Tommy, that agreement? Okay, and so they were asking if, they've got a couple that they're looking at. They're also, part of this is contingent on, getting some money, through the USDA to get the equipment they need for the operating room. And, if they do, then they do have a surgeon that they're talking to, but they were wondering if the board would consider that agreement. And I said, I wasn't aware of that agreement, but we'll try to get a copy of it and look at it. I just wanted to kind of let y'all know that they are looking at trying to do that, bring a surgeon in. And of course, the more services you can bring to that hospital, there's a multiplying effect for the whole community, with that. Also, I was gonna mention to you that, we're looking at the possibility of changing the, work week, especially for our, solid waste collection sites. And this, you'd still have they would still have the same hours, everything would be the same. The only difference would be is what we consider the week. Like now we consider, Monday through Sunday a week. We're looking at changing it a little bit because, we have to try to collect time cards on Saturday and Sunday. So basically, somebody has to work extra time, overtime, to collect those time cards on Saturday and Sunday. And so what we're looking at is shifting that to where their work week would end on a Thursday. And so then you can collect the time cards on Friday. The other thing that it gets it away from is sometimes if, speculating that people would write in, like on Saturday, if we pick the time card